Only hands can wash hands.
Only hands can wash hands.
Look
You are
into
now
my
live
eyes.
streaming onto
You know
social
that's how Spike
service.
had to do it, right? Because truthfully, I sound a lot like Spike Spiegel, a little bit. But that's that's how he had to do it. Give me a line, give me a line. Let me think. Let me think. Let me think. Dang. all all I can keep thinking, the only line I can think Spike saying is hot dog in episode 1. It's like, yeah, I can
Hot
see that.
dog.
He's like,
Oh,
in
you
episode
can
keep it. Gives him all the other stuff that he took back.
Yeah. All right. We are live, everybody. Welcome back to We're Aquarius. I am your host, Frank, and Brad's over there somewhere in YouTube land. I'll show him right now. How's it
I'm
going,
here.
man? How you doing?
I'm here.
Can you
I
see
forgot
my?
you're switching back and forth right now, so people can't see me when I'm not saying anything, can they?
Well, they know you're there. You know.
So if I stay quiet enough,
Then I'll appear.
and I can do whatever I want, nobody will notice. Okay, okay.
Well, I'll switch to your camera when you're doing weird stuff. But yeah, man, how's it going tonight? How you doing, buddy? It's been uh
Well,
it's been a good hot minute.
yeah, yeah, it has been. It's been like, well, it says last live 3 weeks ago. Jeez, what
Well,
happened to us?
it's been a little while. We had
Happened.
some hiccups along the way. So
Some twitch ups.
twitch ups, hiccups, whatever.
Um, yeah, no, I mean, I'm still me, I guess. I did want to tell you about a crazy day at work the other day. 'Cause, something very traumatic happened to me. I'll get into that, but other than that, you're right. No, let's see what else is going on in the last 3 weeks. I mean, well, not like I don't think anything too crazy politically, right? I mean, there's always crazy stuff, but I don't think nothing you want to talk about, right? I mean, you found out that Nancy Pelosi's husband was actually like the guy that like broke in the house was actually like a gay lover, probably a sex slave even. Like that's weird.
Yeah, that's really
The
strange.
plot thickens. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the plot was thickening when they got there.
I don't know. Yeah, ew. Ew. I don't know
Yeah.
what you're determining the word plot to like also be. Ugh.
Okay. Let's talk about Christmas stuff. Merry Christmas, everybody, and I guess Happy New Year for
Do
whenever
you do you
that comes out.
prefer what's like your favorite Ebenezer Scrooge with the Christmas story? Is his name George C. Scott? Is that the guy's name? The old black and white one that used to be very traditional on TV and was just I mean, it's the best one. That old black and white one was scary, but not like a horror movie, but it's still
I thought it was the one with Alistair
and
something.
I think there is one like that too. That was another one that was more in like the 80s, right?
Yeah,
And
that
it
was
was
a
pretty
pretty
good.
good
That
one
was
from
more
a
color
while
and it was
ago.
decent. It
Hmm.
was decent. I still like the original one. Well, I guess I don't even know if that's the original, but
It might
a lot of
be.
these new ones
That
I
might
try to
be.
get into, but a lot of these new ones that I've seen and stuff like that, I'm not a fan.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm really becoming less and less of a fan of like anything new.
I know.
Like I'm kind of. I was thinking about it. I was like, man, if I get bored of Rocket League, I'm already bored of my phone game that I play, Summoner's War. Like I'll play it because I got such a decent account and I put 8 years into it. But like,
Hmm.
it's getting a little bit repetitive when you just keep making new monsters that are just a little better than the old ones, and then later you'll update the old ones to kind of be different. And what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing for all this? What are you doing? I
Yeah.
just wanted to like have cool things, but it seems like it's the same.
Hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's like it's all the same. It's the same, and it's just gotten a little repetitive. But I think
Yeah.
like when I get bored of that stuff, I'm not sure if I'll have a replacement, like a replacement like boring hobby. I have plenty of healthy hobbies, like golf and walking around and, photography. But like the boring hobbies, the lazy hobbies, they're getting more and more boring to me. And I was just thinking, like, are we gonna? You're right. I mean, I'm starting to really agree with you that you're right. Like, and then I almost would say 30 years, but we're really gonna enter in like a more of a Puritan. I think more and more you're gonna see more and more of these people standing up for this like sense of like it's within my right, and if you don't like my opinion, that's within your right, but you're not going to tell me what to say. This whole this whole concept of like telling people, labeling people, and telling people what they have to say, and it's not flying. Like it's not passing the smell check with people. They're not doing it. And that's the bottom line with it. You're not going to tell people like, yeah, you have to call me this, and people are like, okay, I'll start doing that.
Yeah.
Um, should I get right into my whole story? Because I'm gonna try to be as elaborate and as fair as I can possibly be in this story.
I don't
But
know. Maybe.
you don't. Well,
Well,
you don't
I
think?
just wanted to say real quick, like what you're saying in the future there with the respect and all that. I think it comes down to the fact that we're just going to have a lot more people being a little more open as to who they are instead of worrying about what do I have to see someone else as. It's going to be like, hey, this is me, this is what I think, and
Take it or
yada,
leave
yada,
it.
yada. It's going to kind of maybe go that way. I don't know if I have a very good way of explaining that, but
Well, no, I agree with you, but I think more and more people are starting to like. I don't want to say snap, but more and more people are starting to just say like, no, I'm not accepting that. I'm putting my foot down there, and
hmm
no, because well, I mean, it's such a long story. That's what I mean. But I do want to tell it because the whole thing really, I mean, it's cliche. You know the situation. Basically, to start the whole story, like I was called a racist numerous times by a person, a black woman, and it really hurt because it was at my work, and my family was there at the time, and my daughter's even asking my wife afterwards, like, what does a racist mean? And like I mean, there's like 20 plus customers there seeing this. Thank goodness that there's a great customer base. And like, I mean, like one of the customers went over to my daughter that I knew, and she's like, your dad's a really good guy. Like, don't listen to this woman. Just don't worry. Your dad's a really good guy. Like, he didn't do anything wrong. Just understand that. And I had another customer is like, sir, just come with me. Like, she's like, I'm really sorry this person did that to you. Like, I've seen you over here for the last year. I've never seen you like that. Like I don't believe what she said. And I mean, I had a lot of people like really really nice with me. The police officer eventually said like, it doesn't seem like you're racist or anything like that. So, but
hmm
the incident went down. So the woman enters the store, and I'm good at my job. I mean, I don't need to say where I work, but I'm a simple, humble assistant manager at a retail store. And I mean, I do other things, but that's neither here nor there. But um my main job is this. And I see this woman, and my wife is there. My wife was actually dropping off my belt at the time because I forgot my belt before I had to go to work. So I see this woman, and I even tell my wife, I was like, last time she came, she went through another assistant manager that just started, and he accepted all this stuff back from her. But when we looked at it, it was like really dirty. Like it was clearly used and washed and returned. You do exchanges where this place is at, but it's clearly used. And I remember this. I mean, I remember her, and I remember, when people do things like this, I take the time to remember who it is because I don't like people doing this in my store. It's not right. So months go by. I mean, this is like a couple months later since that incident happened, and I see her in the store. I'd only seen her one other time in the store prior to then, but Um, she didn't return anything, so it wasn't, it was just see her and okay, person in my store. And so I tell my wife, I said, but I already see that she has a bag. It's clearly like an old bag in her cart. So she didn't leave her returns. I know she's going to be returning something because she has an old bag in her cart. You have an old bag of your old stuff. You're going to be returning something.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not a big fan of people doing this, walking around with bags, and it's like book bags and all that. I watch you a little bit closer if you have a book bag or if you have, a bag like that. And being that she was the last time she was here, she returned a bunch of stuff that should not have been accepted back and should have been told to her. I kind of kept a little bit closer of an eye on that bag, making sure it wasn't getting larger or anything like that. I didn't think that the girl was a thief, but when you try to give me dirty stuff back and all that, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know for all I know, that was damaged stuff in another store that you went and grabbed out of the trash. I don't know, but it's awkward to me. But yeah, there's no doubt that I kept a little bit closer. When she passed by, I looked at that bag, kind of curious what's going to be in it. What am I going to have to get as an exchange? Is this going to be food or is this going to be random stuff? I'm not sure. But I didn't follow around or anything like that. I have my own work to do. I have my section that I have to stock. I have to get my work done.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have time for that really anyway, if I wanted to, and I don't. Either way, being the assistant manager and being the only person on duty, every time there is an exchange, I'm called up to the front. So I get called to the front, and it's her for her exchange with one of my newer employees, been there about a month. And I double check the stuff this time because of last time being dirty. I want to make sure that I'm not getting myself just returning dirty goods again. In which case, I start to look and realize that these candle holders have like wax in the bottom of them and stuff. Like one of them is really dirty. The other one is slightly dirty, and a couple, like two others, have like clearly water drop marks that they've been dried and not dried. You know what I mean? Like they sat dried, and you see the water lines at the end. They washed them.
So wait, she used it and then
She used
just decided to return it after using it?
right. Now,
Wow.
mind you, the first time, and this is over the stretch of months, but I like being good at my job. So it's
Mm-hmm.
it's a hobby and a skill of mine to be good at my job. The first time she returned about 8 full glass flower vases and like 6 or 8 mirrors. Usually when people return things, it's like, oh, I've got like one too many,
Mm-hmm.
not 8. You didn't accidentally get 8 too many.
Mm-hmm.
So already I was, I like to look at that stuff. But I told him, it was dirty. And so the next time I looked at these, and again, it's like 8 or it was like 7 or so teacup holder, candle holders. Of course, you're exchanging 7 candle holders. You no longer need them for whatever you used them for. You don't need them anymore. So, and that's the thing. The receipt is from over an hour away from me, same store, but different location, over an hour away, over 1 month ago.
Hmm.
So, I mean, the whole point is that she holds, I'm making an assumption at this point, but she holds these things until she has another event. And when she has another event, she'll go and return everything that she has in exchange for all the new stuff that she needs for the new event. It's a great gimmick. It's not bad.
So you never
Good
really
plan.
buy them. You just kind of
You just keep
use them for a
exchanging
little,
it. Right.
little bit.
Use
of
it a
time.
little bit and exchange it on back. Wash it and exchange it. Great plan. So I first when I look at it, I'm like, man, this one's dirty. I'm talking to myself slightly at the line. It's kind of busy because it's Christmas time. I'm like, man, this one's dirty. And I start looking at the next one. I say, yeah, this one's dirty too. And she, excuse me, sir, are you talking to me? Already abrupt with me. right? She already had a problem with me before I said a single word to her. And I said, well, I said I wasn't, but yeah, these are dirty. I said, now I'm going to still grant you, and I already got cut off. Now, she already cut me off before I even could finish what I was saying here. And I mean, she's already like, am I not allowed to return these? And I said, well, when they're not used. And she said, I never use these. I said, ma'am, they're very dirty inside. And I said, and here's the problem. I said, last time you came, you returned a bunch of flower vases that were also dirty. I said, I remember. And she said, no, I've never met you before. I said, maybe not, but you dealt with another associate here, and I overseed it afterwards. And she said, no, they weren't. They were mirrors that I returned. First she said, I never returned anything. And I said, yes, you did. And she said, no, they were mirrors that I returned. And I said, yes, and some of those were dirty too, but they were also glass vases. She said, no, I never returned any glass vases. And then she said, you've been profiling me this whole time, following me around the store. And she said, you're racially profiling me. And I said, no, ma'am. I said, I was profiling you, yes. I said, I watched you. You have a bag in your store, and last time you came, you had smudgy glasses that you returned on me. I said, but it's not because of your race. And my wife is right behind. My wife at this point. It's like, Brad, just, calm down. Maybe you need to go, because this woman's causing a scene. And she's like, I never returned that. And then later she said, my husband returned those vases, not me. I said, so you do admit you returned the vases here at this store, and they were dirty? And she said, no, they were not. I said, they were. I said, ma'am, I remember. She said, you do not know me. I said, ma'am, I remember who you are. And she said, you're a racist. And I said, I'm sorry. I don't even know what I said at this point, but I was so devastated. I put my head. I said, what a shame. She's like, you're a racist. You're a racist. You just racially profile. It's because I'm black that you remember me, that all this. I said, no, ma'am. It's because those glasses were dirty. And I remember when people try to do this kind of stuff, they're dirty. And it just got so bad. My cashier's like, ma'am, they are dirty. He's new, and he's like, ma'am, they are dirty. Like, they are. You can see that they're dirty. And I said to her, I said, ma'am, I'm willing to grant the exchange today, but I'm telling you, you cannot do this again, because it's not going to be allowed again. I'm sorry. I can't keep doing this. And she just kept calling me a racist. Well, you know what I said to her? I said, look at my wife, because my family's there. I said to my daughter, and I shouldn't have gotten my daughter involved, but I said to my daughter, I said, Anna, have I ever taught you anything but to treat other people equally? And she's like, no. She's like, you've always said, like, be fair to people and stuff like that. I said, look at my wife. And she says, my wife's Dominican, and she's like a darker Dominican, and she's not black. I was like, I mean, yeah, I know. I didn't know that this was just I'm only racist against black people. I thought it was just like I was racist. Now I'm only racist against black. I'm just trying to understand where you're even coming from, lady. Because I'm really sorry, but it really upset me at this point. Like, I was upset. The one woman asked me, "Oh, can you help me?" and walk away. And she's like, just walk away. And that's what I'm saying. All these people kept saying things that would upset me more. One person said, sometimes they like to do that. And I'm just thinking, they? What do you mean by they? Stop that. Like, I had to walk away from that person. I didn't want to hear it from her. I do not need her racism towards me embellishing your racism towards another culture either. Because I had another person say, don't let one person make you feel that way. It's just one person. It's not just one person. It's a whole wave of movement of millions of people who feel this way. And it's upsetting anymore, because the truth is, I'm not racist. I'm not. There's no way I'm racist. I mean, I'm stereotypical and I can make my jokes, but I'm not racist. I don't care. I don't care where somebody comes from. I mean, I'm born my entire life in America, the melting pot. What do I care where somebody came from? In fact, I think it's cool when I find someone from another culture, not from America. I'm all about, like, learning what they do, or tell me some cool stories about your. Never once have I looked down on a race or thought they were less than my race or something like that. And it so upset me, all this. And I mean, I walked away, and then she kept talking to cashier number one, my guy on number one, and she was just like yelling at him, like yelling at him and this whole thing. And I noticed that the woman behind her now tapped her on the shoulder and was like, "Are you gonna go?" The other woman in register two turned and said, "Fuck you," to the lady, and I realized like this is causing more of a problem. So I went up to the lady. I said, "Ma'am, you need to leave." I said, "I'm sorry that this all happened for you. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry you feel that way about me," which got her more angry. That I said, "I'm sorry you feel that way about me." I was like, "But you need to leave or I'm going to have to call the police." And she wouldn't leave. I said, "Okay, then I'm going to call the police." And she said, "I'm calling the police." I said, "Please feel free to call the police. We'll both call the police together. That way they have two sides of the story right off the bat." I said, "I don't want any problems, but you need to leave the building. You don't own this store. You can't tell me to leave." I said, "Ma'am, the people who own this store have appointed me in charge to tell you to leave. Yes, I am running this store right now, and I'm telling you to leave." And she wouldn't leave. She wouldn't leave. Police had to come. I mean, by then she had walked out. She's on the phone she's like, "He's trailing me out of the store right now." Yes, because I'm the manager on duty and I've asked you to leave and I'm making sure you exit the building. It's for the safety of every other customer here. I don't know what you're capable of at this point. You screamed at my employee, you screamed at me, and honestly, you scared a lot of people around. Like people are really, really, but it upsets me because even when the police came, you know what she says to the police? Said she said, like, Jesus loves you, peace be with you, which didn't help her case. People just probably like the police just looked at her like, "Ah, she's one of these people." But the whole thing to me, I just feel so bad about all of it. Not for her, not for me, for just everything, for everyone, for everything. I mean, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed by that. To think that there could be other people at that store who now think, "Man, that guy's kind of racist." I mean, the woman was videotaping me. She's not even allowed to videotape on her premises, but she said for her safety. So I thought, okay, I don't know. I mean, I didn't approach her or anything. I don't know what she said for her safety. But the other woman behind her tapped her on the shoulder. So, I don't know. The whole thing it made me so sad. It made me so, because it's like, you think I'm the racist? I mean, how has society become where I'm the racist one?
Well, just because it's turned into this whole thing, you're the white guy, therefore you're just racist.
Yeah,
And
but
the
in the
fact
end,
is, like, we've had this for
but this is the
ever
thing.
since I was young and I grew up. I've had this when I lived in the inner city. Uh, there was a little African American boy that just walked up to me one day when I was riding around the bike. Never saw him before, and he just says, "You're racist." They're trained to believe that everybody that's just a white guy is
You can't say
automatically a
they.
racist.
I mean, that's what I mean. You can't do that. They. I know some people are, but that's what I'm saying. This
I'm just
ideology
saying
that,
this isn't a
look,
culture thing. This is a political thing. It's pushed through the
look.
politics,
I went to
and
Baltimore, Maryland
politically
one
wise,
time.
they put it on a lot of people to automatically be racist towards certain
I,
people,
w-
and
I
you
went.
don't. And the fact is, you don't do anything, and you're just automatically just put into this box, and it
Look, I went.
hurts because you
It
wanna
hurts.
make friends, you want to be friends, but then you get things like this happening, and then just automatically certain people just think because. And I've had some different color people walking in front of me in a store, and they were making racist jokes, or not jokes, but they were like making racist comments towards white guys, and I walk up right behind them and they look at me like, "I can't believe you were there the whole time." Like, they just it just turns into this whole racial thing when it doesn't have to be. It's been that way for such a long time, and it's never had to be that way. But yet, some people want to continue that rhetoric for just because they heard it through the politics. Oh, all these people are like this, and all these people are, and so it creates a class of they and another class of they, and then you can never get along because everybody believes all the bullshit
But
that
it's
they're
like I
told.
said, the whole thing about this whole thing annoys me. It's like, she made comments along the lines. She said like, "You remember me because I'm black." That's so difficult to explain. It's like I remember that you're black. I didn't remember you because you're black. I remember you because you had smudgy stuff that you returned last time. But yes, I did remember that you're black. I did remember that you have a heavy accent. I did remember that you dress well. I mean, like, I mean, like, that's what I'm saying. So I said to my friend, if I just try to remember people because of their eye color, I'd get people confused. You are black. And you don't need to be proud or not proud of it, but you need to acknowledge that you are. I am white. I can't pretend I'm not. You can have whatever culture you want to, like and all that. I can be white and love anime and love the Japanese culture and wear Japanese clothing and be obsessed with it. But that doesn't make me Japanese. Just keeps me white. Still
Hmm.
white. That's who I am. That's who I was born with. Don't need to get into a whole nother argument with this one right here where I'm going with that. But, you know,
I mean, if you
I'm
were
just saying, like,
if you were
of course,
met somebody from a different culture, and they were trying to explain who you were to their friends, and they says, "Oh yeah, it's that white guy,"
yeah.
I wouldn't get offended at all. I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm the white guy."
One of my best friends for
I'm
years is
if I
Puerto
was
Rican, and he called me
Asian,
white boy all the time. I never looked at
yeah,
it as racist.
some people call
I'm
people
white,
gringos
and
and
I'm a
stuff.
boy.
I was in a factory. I worked with a lot of Hispanics that just I don't know how soon they came over to America, but they would call me the gringo.
Bro,
I
they're
was the
making fun of me.
gringo, yeah, and the third shift.
Depends
I
if it's
was the
Mexican or Puerto
gringo.
Rican on that one.
I was like, oh, yeah, I'm one of the very few white guys working here, but yeah, I'm the gringo at that point. I don't care. It
Gringo's
didn't
really
bother
lost its
me.
meaning over the years. Even the Mexican culture doesn't look at gringo like it's that bad anymore. They
I'm just
used
saying,
to,
like,
but they just look at it like, fucking gringo.
yeah, there's
Fucking white
certain
guy.
modifiers you say for people of different cultures because it just
The thing
how
is, the thing
it's
is, I
not.
just saying, of course I remember her because she's black, but that's because like black is your main identifier. I mean, I remember you because you had smudgy glasses. It's not just because you're black. Like how if that was the case, then like I failed because there's so many black people in that store I don't remember. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what she's talking about. I'm so confused. I remember
The thing is, she
because she
probably
had
thought
smudgy glasses because they were dirty. That's it.
she probably thought you were racially profiling her because, oh, I
Well, that's what she
remember
said.
you. Oh, because I'm a black person, then because I'm a black person, because you think all black people steal and I'm stealing, so therefore you're racist. But she's kind of like proving the fact that she's probably a thief
But I
in
get
that
like
terms, or she's leaning into the idea that she's
honest, like
probably
no lie.
conjecturing that
Honestly,
she's a
I
thief,
deal
or you
with
think
like
she's a thief, and then
on
therefore,
average, and I don't want to, because I don't really pay attention that much to be honest. But on average, I probably deal with like 10 to 20 black people a day. Now, mind you, this woman is like I don't even know if you can say. She's like hardcore black. She's like straight from Africa. I don't think she's Haitian.
does she
I think
sound
she's
like
like
she came
like
from Africa, like she was born
I
and
feel
raised
like
there?
she's literally like Algerian or something. I don't know. I don't know. I
You
don't.
know
I don't.
that's
I don't know black culture well, and I don't know African culture
that's the
well enough to
strangest
make an
thing because
assumption.
when I was younger, I was in a YMCA and there was a person that was straight from Africa. It gave me a friendship bracelet, and I could talk to him like a friend. But when I was younger and I'd try to go around and make friends on the block, it was incredibly hard to make friends with
Yeah,
somebody that was
but
African American because they, I don't know, it was so
you
hard to
get your
make friends with
clicks.
them.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, yo,
And it was
it's
back in the
funny.
day. You might be like, well, everything was more racially motivated. Well, it's because everybody wanted to just be on their side. It was so hard to reach out and be friends with someone from a different culture
Well,
because
that's what I was saying. It's
everybody was kind
funny.
of in a clique, and you couldn't really do that.
All this actually reminded me
And
of
I'm
an
saying,
old friend I used to have from Africa named Hadi, and I don't have so much social media, so I haven't talked to him for like 10 plus years. And I think last I heard he did decide to go back to Africa. But like I thought about it, I was like, man, I should like look him up. Like, like out of all the weird things about all this, and I know because it's like weird because he is black, and it's like, but I thought like, man, because I kept counting myself. I was like, I'm not racist, I'm not racist, and I like literally trying to go through my mind of like all the interactions I've had with people, thinking like, like I don't know, like I'm not, like I'm just not. You can't like. I'm well adversed of what somebody's skin. I'm not like delusional in what people's skin color is, but like I don't care. I
Mhm.
don't. I'm not gonna like. I'm not gonna not be your friend because your skin color. Nor am I gonna treat you differently. I just don't think like that.
I think it
You know
just
what I
comes
mean?
down to the fact is when it comes to that, it comes down to um, not modifiers. What's the right word? Descriptifiers.
What's what I said?
Whereas if you were to describe somebody else to a friend of yours, you're like, oh yeah, I got this friend. He's you're gonna see him at one point, and you don't describe them at all, and then you're at a bar with them, and then you walk off. They won't know who you're talking about. They won't know who to come up and approach. So that's usually why people give
Well, it's
some
like I said.
descriptions as to
I was in
people.
Baltimore, Maryland one time, and I had a little bit of weed on me, and I wanted to smoke, and I didn't have any way to smoke it, so I literally walked up to three black dudes that were sitting on a stoop smoking weed, and I was just like, "Hey, if I pitch in, can you roll me into the next one?" And they were extremely cool with me. Like, "Yeah, man, what you got? Like, let's do it. You got honors, man. Spark up." They were so cool. Where you from? Like not. I mean, my man down in Philly. Like they were cool in the long run. Like I never looked at them. Like, of course, I looked at them like, "Yo, it's three black dudes. How's this gonna go down? Are they gonna care that I'm white?" Of course, I questioned it. You know,
Hmm.
but I thought, what's stronger than black and white is green. People don't care when I'm bringing the stuff, they'll roll me up. They don't care. I was like,
You
it'll
know
be
what?
good.
You know
And,
what
and
this
my
is, man? You know what this is? This is politics pushing all this racism on us to make
I
us
know,
always
but that's
question whether the other person is going to like us or be racist towards us or think we're racist towards them. And then it comes into this gray area where it's like, what do I do? Because it makes you question things because everybody's been so droned on that. I think if they stopped it if they didn't continue it like they have continued it, we could have healed this whole racism
I
thing
do too. I think
years
I think
ago.
we could have healed a lot of things if we didn't have this government really, really trying to halt us. We could
Hmm.
have updated our education system by now. We could have put people back in check and not teaching them how to get in debt further.
Hmm.
We could have fixed a lot of things. Because it's like, what is this? Hey, let's make a huge debt and then let's get the government to buy it out. Like,
Hmm.
which is what everybody, like fake money. Nah, I know what you're saying, man. But that's what the whole thing. Look, in the long run, I'm not mad at that woman. I'm not mad. First off, she doesn't know me. So, whatever. You don't know me. You're having a bad day, or you're mad because I've put an end to your scheme that you're doing and you can't come here anymore about it. I don't know. I don't really know or care, but in the end, it's just the whole thing's upsetting.
See, what I think happened
Upsetting
there with that.
because we're really stupid. Humans are stupid and we're teaching our stupid. But before we used to teach it humbly. This is what you got to learn. Now we're telling people this is the truth. And our kids are learning it like, no, that's oh man, splash. Our kids are learning it
I
like
hate it when it does that.
oh, it is the truth. It's the way that it has to be. Because that's what we're literally telling our kids. Like, no, it's the truth. But if we were to start telling our kids, we're stupid creatures and we don't know any better, hopefully you can do a little better than us. This is what we've gotten so far. I have a feeling that like humanity could start to heal itself. But we're arrogant. We're arrogant humans. The human nature has a problem with thinking that they know more than the other person right beside them. They always want to think that they
Hmm.
know more than you're on the internet arguing with somebody, you always want to think you know more about this subject than they do.
Yeah,
Shut up.
yeah. And you know what? I gotta say, we all do that.
We
Even
all do it.
myself. Even
Ugh.
myself. I found myself. There's so many times that I'm just I see something happen and I get really angry at it. I'm like, what the F are you doing? And I think later on, well, maybe they have something wrong with them. Maybe they're sick, or maybe, but this is where it came
Or they
to,
never learned it. What?
but this is
Why
this is
should
where
you
it came
judge
to
somebody just?
Jesus when he says, "Judge not, lest you be judged," which means that you don't always know at the back end of the circumstance to be able to judge the whole thing. And I think that's what we keep doing. We
Look,
keep judging the situation. But I think what happened with your situation, I just want to finish that up and talk about what I think was the deal, is that she was going to try, which obviously I would say you're in the right there. She was going to try to use the candles for what she needed them for birthday or whatever, and then return them and then really never pay for it. And then so when it didn't happen, it didn't go her way, cry racism, and then
yeah,
make him look like such an idiot, make him feel really bad, and then he'll go, you know what, I'm sorry, I'll take it back. I don't want to offend you, and just get away with it. I think she was trying to find
but I
any
didn't back down.
way, any route to keep
See,
doing
that's
what
the
she was
problem.
going
I
to do.
didn't back down. I
And
didn't.
and she thought you could fold because you're a white guy and you don't want to be embarrassed
I put
because
my head down and said, I'm so ashamed. Everybody looked at me like, I'm telling you, like three different people went up to the police officer and they're like, I know him. He's really a nice guy. They're like, he's not racist. They're like, I'm really, like, I feel so bad for him. I was like ready to cry, dude. I was like ready to cry
that's a hard
because,
situation, man.
and the
Because
truth
it,
is,
it hurts. It
because my
hurts even.
family was there, because my daughter asked right afterwards, my mom, what is a racist? At 7 years old, almost 8, what is a racist? I never taught her that kind of stuff. I never taught her to hate other people. In
Yeah.
fact, we pushed the opposite. We've even like tried to tell her, we are literally that. We're the real anti-racist. We told her you don't judge people for any reason but their actions. But
Hmm.
we tell her if somebody does something to hurt you, doesn't matter if it's boy, girl, whatever, it doesn't matter. If they're hurting you, you get away. And we've also taught her you don't fight because the best way of self defense is running. You only fight when they run after you. If they will not let you go, then you can defend yourself. But until then, you always try to leave first. Which comes the next
Hmm.
situation for me, the very next day. And and again, I'm so heated from this previous day, from yesterday, this incident with this woman of calling me, I mean, like 5 or 6 times, shouting it. I'm a racist. You're a racist. You racially profiled me. It hurt. So I go, all right. So I go to a T-Mobile store because I couldn't seem to do this thing online because they're having issues with their document signing. They won't let you see the document that you're supposed to sign. It, it's you have the option to click I agree and sign, but you don't have the option to review what you're signing. So it's a
Hmm.
bit of a problem. I try to talk to them in the IT department, and everybody's shaking their heads. And I'm just like, I'm just gonna go into a store and talk to them. So I go to my local store, and I wait a few minutes. First guy, hey, how can I help you? He listens to me, and then he says, I'll be right with you. And then he never gets back to me. After like 5 minutes, I get this girl to come over to me, and I tell her, I say, I already was online. We already know what we want. We're trying to get this Apple Watch. It's the one that was minus $149. I think we looked it up, SE second generation, blah, blah, blah. We're trying to get it for my daughter. We just want to add the line. We already know what we want. And she's like, okay, let me go make sure it's in stock. Goes in the back to make sure it's in stock. And 2 other associates go with her. And, I don't think much of it at the time. I'm just waiting for my watch. 20 minutes go by. 20 minutes go by. She comes back out with 2 tablets, 2 phones, 2 something else. I'm not even sure. Maybe they were like Apple TVs or something. I don't even fucking know. No watches. And then begins to tell me like, "Oh, I was looking at your plan and I noticed that you're kind of paying more than you need to. And I said, yeah, I know. I made a foolish decision previously on these cell phones with T-Mobile a while back, and I'll worry about that another day. She said, we do have the watch. She never said in stock. She said, but we have the watch. But there was no box with her containing the watch. Anyway, she starts to go over me. She's like, we can basically, add 2 tablets, 2 new phones, upgraded phones. And I said, I'm just going to have to stop you there. I said, I'm not trying to make T-Mobile my new bill of the year. I just came in to try to get this watch. I have to get to work. There's 20 minutes went by now. I said, I'm sorry to waste your time like that. I said, but I just wanted to get this watch quickly. And I didn't come in for a new plan. And I certainly don't need all this extravagant new phones, new tablets. I already have a tablet. And my wife's like, yeah, we already have tablets. They're like, the tablets were free. Of course they are, because people already own them and you have too many of them. Not my problem. People went to Best Buy for their tablets. They don't need the phone on the tablet. And also, I don't even need to ask, but of course they're going to be free. You just have to, what's that? Add a line to it. I'm sure it's free when you add a line. But you can give me discounted. I don't care how discounted you can get. It's not free on free. Free on another fee. So I said, I don't have time for this. I have to get to work. So me and my wife, who never engaged with any employee, she's just watched the kids behind me, leave. And as we leave, 2 stores down, we're already 2 stores down, 2 T-Mobile guys approach my wife now. My wife is Spanish, because you probably figured out in the last... Huh?
2?
2 guys. My wife is Spanish, and these are 2 also Spanish guys. And they say to my wife, and I'm right there. It's not that my back is turned or anything. I'm standing right there with my children, and my wife is there. ¿Hablas español? And I just kind of look at him, and I say, yo necesito trabajo. Which in Spanish, in English, I need to work. I need to go to work. I need to work. And, I don't care if I don't speak great English or Spanish, great Spanish. But the bottom line was, I said, what you're doing is borderline racist. And, I said no. And he says, how's that racist? I'm lighter than you. Which my wife I didn't even look at the guy, but I numerous times, like, my wife's like, he's not lighter than you. But regardless, I don't even care. I didn't even notice your skin color. I don't even pay attention to that. The fact was, I said no. My wife had no interaction in that store. I said no to a woman associate, 2 male associates who I had no interaction with, hunt down my wife and try to speak a language they think me, the white person, will not understand. Trying to go around me to talk to my wife. And I understand it's not for some perverted reason. It's because you're trying to sell me something. But he say, no, I was just trying to tell her, the deal, you get that for free. And the bottom line was, I said we're not interested. Here's the whole thing. My wife and I live in an ideology where my wife puts me at the hierarchy. It's not necessarily always that way. We live in a 2022 society, but my wife likes me to be in charge. I do make the final decisions. Sometimes I am the bad guy. Sometimes I am the lawmaker. As the man, I have to choose to be just. I have to learn how to be fair, kind, understanding, and listen to everybody before I ultimately make my final decision on what to do on things. But I will be the one who makes the final decision. There cannot be a 100% partnership. Oh, you and me both decide, because 50-50, if there's a disagreement, what happens? We disagree. 50-50 will not work. But there are many times when even we do this, And I, as the hierarchy, although I don't agree, will side with my wife because I really don't have a strong enough argument. It's more of a feeling than it is a reality. And I respect my wife and I will honor her when I ultimately know deep down she's right in this circumstance. And I probably would rub it in her face if my gut feeling ended up being there in the long run. But it doesn't matter because we're a partnership. And when she fails, we fail, and vice versa. And when she succeeds, we succeed. So, I try to do what's right with my family. But it's very disrespectful that a man would go around me to try to speak a language that he thinks I will not know based on my skin color.
Yeah, that's pretty
And
messed
tries to
up.
speak to my wife in another language. And here's the thing. You could argue the one possible factor. The only way to argue that is, well, he's more of a Spanish-speaking person, and he's more comfortable in that language. But he just had a customer prior that was white, and he spoke to her in very fluent and clear and understanding English. So it was not a question of could he speak English or not. It was a question of could he speak a language that I, the white man who already said no, would not be able to understand. And it was very disrespectful. I said, "Ella habla inglés también," which means she speaks English also. And I told him, I said, and I started walking away. And as I walked away, I said, "Leave it alone. Leave us alone," basically. And I walked away. And he said, "Yeah, keep walking." Yeah, that's a T-Mobile employee right there. "Yeah, keep walking." Tough guy telling me to keep walking after he's the one who hunted me down and wouldn't take no for an answer. I also think he's sexist. My wife didn't quite understand what I meant, but it was a female person that addressed us. And what does this male employee do but follow her back? Now, maybe she's new and I'm overlooking this, but he follows her back and he probably even tried to, "You got to sell them this. You got to sell them that. They want to watch. You got to get them." And she's probably like, "I think they just want to watch." No, you don't know. Give them this. And when I said no, we just spent 20 minutes getting that paperwork together. Take a look at it at least. No, I said no. I'm not interested in I wanted to watch. If your business cannot provide me with that, I will go elsewhere to another T-Mobile distributor who hopefully won't try to sell me something I don't want or need. My phone works fine.
Kind of sounds like a very creepy person to be able to.
It was very creepy, and I
tried
to report him. I tried to go on a complaint,
and then when she comes out, he's like, "You didn't do it right. I'm gonna track him down and make sure I can get this woman."
How sexist is he? But let me go get the woman. Let me not talk to the man. The man who addressed you. Let me go talk to him and say, "Hey, Miss Sir, let me reconsider you just for two. Look, I know you're running late, but you got 45 seconds. I'll speak fast. Let's get this done. Come on, man. We're trying to make a sale here. Look at it at least." But no, he didn't go to me, who did all the talking. He went around me to my wife in another language, so I definitely wouldn't understand him.
Because I'm white. Over my helmet?
That's what I'm saying.
Over my
helmet. How disrespectful can people be? And they don't even. How am I being racist? It made me realize then, I'm not going to argue with this man. I'm going to walk away because I can't. I'm not here to teach him. How am I being? If you don't see how you're being racist, I don't know. But you chose to talk to my wife in Spanish when you knew I was perfectly able to in English, and I was the one who tried to make the sale in the first place. How do you even not know that that's not just a nanny for my kids? I mean, I'm just saying, you don't know who that person is. And you just approach her like that? Because I'm just saying, in the 1950s, a man would say, "Excuse me, sir, if you have business with my wife, you go through me. You do not approach my wife like that, sir."
Yeah.
And that's the 50s. And I liked it like that. My wife she didn't want to be bothered. 3 times she said, I'm going to go take the kids to the fountain. She didn't want to be bothered with the sales stuff.
Yeah.
That's why she led it to me. Not because I'm the man, because that's what I'm good at. That's what I do. And when you can't come through and give me what I want, no sale. I didn't ask you to sell me a bunch of stuff. All right? I'm not at a car lot. That's what I mean. And that's what I mean. It's like the same thing you have with, car lot. Oh, I'm looking at this $1,500 car over here. Oh, yeah? How about this $50,000 car over here?
Yeah, that's so.
You had plenty of like $2,200 cars you could have sold me, but you try to go for the $50,000. Like, you embarrassed me, man. I can't afford new tablets and phones right before Christmas when I'm already giving out stuff to other people. You embarrassed me. Again, I came in to try to get a watch for my daughter. I didn't come in for new phones and a tablet. And if you don't have it in stock right now, you freaking tell me you don't have it. I don't have it in stock right now. You won't be able to get it today. But no, we have it. We have it. You mean you can get it before Christmas? Because that's your goal. Oh, I can get it. We can get it from the other store over in the town over. We can get someone to run it over for this guy before Christmas. So they can have it as a present because that's what they want it for. Present for their kid. We have it all figured out who they are. No, you don't know how we celebrate our holiday. You don't know if maybe she's going on vacation and we want to get that gift out prior to sending her out. You don't know anything. So stop assuming. Like I said, I waited for 45 minutes on the T-Mobile complaint line. T-Mobile. If you have algorithms to pick it up, T-Mobile, to pick up what T-Mobile we say. You made me wait 45 minutes on your customer service. And repeatedly I'd hear how you tell me you're here for me. For 45 minutes, I waited listening to you tell me you're here for me. And you never came through for me. I had to hang up because I had to do, responsibilities at that point. I thought I could handle something an hour prior, but I guess not. I guess when you're handling T-Mobile customer service, you need 4 to 6 hours of preparation time. Planned out for yourself because they might not pick up for an hour.
It's been kind of hard this season too. Like even I got a part from my truck that I want to get put on, and the person I was going to have put on, they're like, "Oh, I'm a little nervous about doing that." And then almost a week and a half later, I finally find the dealership's going to be able to do it for like $100 more, but they're confident in actually doing it. So it's like, okay, now I got to go do it there, but that's going to be a whole another week and a half until I can get it done.
Yeah.
And it just this frustration throughout the Christmas season.
I'm kind of tired of people faking it until they make it. There has to be some kind of like.
I don't think it's so much that with the Christmas season. I mean, it could be, but I think what it is for a big part is the fact that people are trying to make a little extra money for the holiday season, so they just go pick up a job, or people kind of move on and somebody doesn't have enough work. Like maybe T-Mobile, they had to hire somebody right off the spot like that. Like
that's what I'm saying.
Split,
but they said
don't know what's
talk
going
with our
on,
experts.
And
can
so
they legally say that? Talk with our experts? Because I don't think. I mean, the first person I talked to, first time about the issue where I couldn't see the contract, she was a great representative. I mean, I got her instantly. I didn't say the word complaint when they asked me what I'm calling for, which might have been why I had to wait 45 minutes. Because, T-Mobile was probably like, the best way to solve a person who's angry is just let them have some extra time. And that's what they'll do. That's what they'll do. Because who wants to listen to a person who just engaged in an angry conversation,
Yeah, there was a time that I got pretty angry, and I was, I can't remember who it was or what time it was, but I was yelling, and I wasn't yelling at any person, but I was yelling at the automated service thing. And I was like, operator. I was just keep raising my voice with that. And eventually, I started swearing at the the thing, and eventually they just were like, the automated thing said something really strange I've never heard before, and it was like, maybe you need to take some time and something something something. I was like, what? And then I just was angry and I hung up the phone. But I think that was the point. They found a way to make the operator divert my anger, and then I just didn't go to that place anymore because the people weren't
But that's
helping
what
at
I'm
all.
saying. Look, the thing is, T-Mobile's in the wrong. They're trying to make people sign a financial agreement that you can't even view the whole contract. And it's a simple error by DocuSign. DocuSign is clearly the people who made this contract error. It seems like it can be fixed with the simple coding error. Even when I said I ended up clicking the option of I do not agree to sign this document because I was like, I can't sign it. 5 out of 6 pages. I don't know what they say. That's a lot of things that could be. What happens if I don't make a payment? Am I going to suddenly owe $2,000? I wouldn't know. I can't read the contract. I don't know. So I
Mm-hmm.
can't, in all good faith, sign what I cannot read. And I get it. So, but even when I went to the next page after I said I can't agree, and I typed this whole thing up. They're like, why won't you sign it? And I was like, because I can't read it. And I went to the next page. It was all coded poorly. I could see like the JavaScript all written down the middle. It was like no whoever was in charge of this sectioning of coding slept, got
Hmm.
paid and slept because it is not accurate. And nobody, no superior double checked it and made sure that there was no issue because the coding is horrible. It's all JavaScript in the one page I went to, and I can't even look at my contract. It's darkened out because I have you know what you ever have those options where you have to click OK before you can click anything else. It's like boom boom everywhere else unless you click OK first. You can't do
Mm-hmm.
anything else. It's no
Yeah.
different than this. Unless I click I agree to the DocuSign, I can't click anything else. So when I want to scroll to see I can see page 1, which is the main stuff. And everything looks fine. Like I said, I don't think they're doing anything malicious. But it's at the bottom, it says page 1 of 6. Well, what are the other 5 of 6 pages? Because if I have to put my signature on something and 5 of 6 says you agree to give your soul to Satan, well, shit. I just agreed to it. I just signed off on it. I agreed. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't sign on something that I can't read. You got to be crazy. But I bet hundreds of other people won't even notice it says page 1 of 6, and they'll just go ahead and do it online. It doesn't seem to be like an issue. And who cares? Why cause problems? Why make more things a problem? But that's what I mean. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of all these big companies and these people pushing us around, trying to say this. I'm done. When I see something wrong, I stand up to it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pointing it out. Excuse me, that's wrong. I'm no longer going to be indifferent to anything because that's the phrase. Remember, I told you beforehand I had a phrase that I wanted to tell you, and I wanted to get your opinion on it. But
Hmm.
I shouted it to my wife today, not in anger, but we were talking, and I just said, "In the end, you ready for this? Because I want to get your opinion. I'm gonna let you speak afterwards on it.
I
In the
can.
end, well, I won't if you can't say anything.
I
In
always I always get really like you're a friend of mine, so I don't get on you hard about that. But if somebody else is talking or like, I'm gonna let you talk, I'm like, really? That's amazing. I didn't know I could talk. Oh my gosh. That's
and
so crazy.
you have the power of voice.
I have the ability to
But I
talk.
said to my wife, and I said it in this like heated thing, but it's dwelled in me all day. What I said because it made me think. I said, quote unquote, you can't have free will without sin.
Yes. Yeah. Hmm.
And the whole, I mean, do you think about that? This is a planet of free will, but that's what I read. So
Does it really
remember,
kind of
remember.
turn into more of a necessary evil in that sense?
Well, remember, well, that's the argument. The term necessary evil didn't even make sense to you, but that's what I'm saying. Gets into this profound kind of ideology. Remember
Mm-hmm.
what I said though about heaven being more about work and not so much of, oh, your
Mm-hmm.
every imagination and wish can come true. It's more along the lines of work, and probably for 6 of the 7 days you do. But I keep thinking like, well, that's the thing. You can't have free will without sin. So how in the heck in then heaven? I don't think you get free will. I think that's what you trade. I think you trade your free will. You give up your body to God. You give up this idea of what you choose to do to God. It's like a
I wonder. I don't
letting
know.
him take control of your own body.
I would I I don't know what to say about that. I want to say you still do have your free will, but maybe you're just more in alignment with the creator
But how
to
can
the
you have free
point
will
that
without sin? I'm
to the
serious.
to the
Think
point
about it.
that you
How can
just
you have,
don't want to. Maybe the fact is what you learn throughout this life gives you a better appreciation for what you end up going to. And then you're like, now that you have this bigger appreciation for it versus what you had to go through, it's like, I would rather go and just be here than
hopes
to
and
do
dreams,
that
man?
again.
I'd rather God tell me exactly what I need to do to make his garden beautiful. I'd rather devote my entire eternity to seeing what God has in store because I genuinely do believe, unlike everything else that I've met, that God has a better plan, and I think He needs people to make His better plan work. I think that's the truth of it. This is a planet that contains free will, and maybe that's the thing. Can you have free will without sin? I don't know. I try to be a good person. I try to be as good of a person as I can, but there's no doubt in mine.
I
My
think
mind is not good.
I think what happened
My
initially
actions
is
are fine.
I think what happened initially is God saw the planet for how it was and saw how the animals just kind of like do the will, they do their nature, they do what they're supposed to do, and they just kind of live that life. They just kind of have that life, and it's sort of God's plan for them to just be animals the way they are. They don't deviate from anything. They go out, they eat plants that they have to eat. If they're carnivores, they eat the other animals they have to eat, and they just kind of follow the natural law of things. Um, but they don't have any free will. So maybe introducing this free will to us gives us an option to choose whether we're going to not just necessarily be good or bad, but whether we're going to be nature or we're going to choose to create and
Yeah, but
also be in alignment. I think ultimately the creator is trying to make a situation where he's trying to find who are my friends and who are the people that just are yes men in that sense. And being a friend is also kind of like a yes man,
yeah,
but it's
that's what I
different
mean.
in the
I'd be
sense
no
that
different than a yes man to
you
God.
you get
Whatever that
to
guy wants, I'm on it. The
well
thing
well
that scares
I
me
think if
though,
you I think then it's more of like being a friend in that sense, but it's the same thing Jesus was saying when he was saying, you can choose to be a servant or you can
but
choose to be
you know what the
family,
devil's doing?
you know.
You know what the devil's doing? The Thomas Crown Affair. You ever seen that movie?
A long
Pierce
time ago,
Brosnan.
yeah, I don't, I
Do you
don't,
remember? Do you remember
I
how it
don't,
ended?
I saw
Pierce
it and I liked it, but
Pierce
I don't
Brosnan.
remember it
Pierce
right now.
Brosnan. Pierce Brosnan would steal professional paintings, and he needed to return a painting because he fell in love with this woman who was hunting him down for the paintings. She knows he's stealing them, but she can't prove it. So he says, "I will return the painting," because he loves her and all that. And when he comes in, he's wearing a bowler hat and carrying a briefcase, right? And they all the FBI agents or whatever mark him. Oh, there he is. And as he turns like the first corner, like two other guys come out wearing bowler hats and briefcases, and they split apart. And then when they turn, like two more people come, and before you realize that there's like hundreds of people in the place, all wearing bowler hats and briefcases, walking around, all with their heads down. they lost him. They can't find Pierce Brosnan anymore, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to figure out how he can return the painting. I don't want to be a spoiler breaker for like a movie from like the 90s, but turns out he never stole the painting. It was always there when he donated another painting. He just painted over the good one originally. So he like stole it and returned it within like 24 hours basically. And but this is the bottom line is the bowler hat and the briefcase. Is that how they lost it? You kind of think at least when I was a kid anyway, or maybe that's how people thought just 30 years ago, because you know we have changed. We used to think like the devil's gonna send that false prophet and people are gonna follow him and we're gonna know. But in reality, it seems like the devil's doing more of a Thomas Crown affair. He's sending so many false prophets and so many little angles.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some are borderline good and some are, you know, I'll do one good thing and one bad thing. And I think, you know, I don't,
Yeah.
like I said, I fear that, you know, that's even us in a sense that, you know, because we're obviously not perfect people, nor do I, but I don't consider us prophets. I know, but I'm just saying,
Well, I
like,
wouldn't say we're false prophets.
well, but you
Because
know
I'm
what
not
I'm
coming
saying.
out prophesy. I don't go. That's the thing. I don't want to go out and prophesize anything because I don't want to be included in that
Well, I
system
feel
there.
like in a small sense saying we are Aquarius is a bit of a prophesizing idea. It's an
No. It's
ideology.
not. It's not prophesizing. It's just saying which age we're in. That's why when I say other things like, well, we're a part of the new Aquarius age, that includes practically everybody that's of our age right now or younger. Not
I think
necessarily
that's still
older age.
borderline not in the Bible testimony, so it's kind of a bit of a new age prophecy kind of ideology.
No, it's not a prophecy. It's just the age of the Aquarius coming in versus Pisces. That's really all it is. That's what it is, man. I don't know if you
Either
thought. I don't know if you were taking
well,
it some other way, but I was just taking it from a very
I
literal perspective.
I try to look at it like it's the beginning. Look, that's just like the pebble of it all. This is the age of Aquarius. You know, I don't try to look at it as like it's a prophecy, but we're clearly seeing it. We're clearly seeing how this new age of information
And if
contains
it's not
it's the
technically
devil's
there, we
turn.
are leading into that age. You know,
But the
it's like
thing is, it's as I've said before, I don't think that Jesus is coming back anytime soon. And that's the reality. This is supposed to be the age of information. I think the reality is the age of Christianity starts to die out and there only becomes a small amount of Christians again. And they're the ones who are just strong mind, you know what I mean? And that's what I mean.
yeah,
Because Libra, you know, the age of scales, or possibly what I would consider Judgment Day, Judgment time period, which is 2,000 years and a long, isn't for another like 10,000 years. You
yeah.
still have all those other
Well,
things in between that are, you
we're
know,
coming out of the dark age. We came out of the dark age, and the dark age was technically when it was the dark ages.
well,
When it
I
was the
think
lowest point of history during all those wars way back then and the plague and all that stuff. I think we're in a time. I think from looking at the
excuse me.
I think from looking at the Bible and stuff, I'm trying to figure out what the horsemen are, and I think we're close to the last. I think we're on the last horseman. I think the first horseman
Nah,
was the Crusades.
I don't think any of this is Armageddon.
No, we're
That's
not.
just
We're not quite there yet, but I think
yeah, but
it's
I don't think
it's
there's any
either.
reference to Revelation on what's going on today. I just don't. I think
I
that's thousands of years from now.
I think it could be that, but I don't know for sure because I'm trying to like figure out some of this stuff. I'm thinking, well, maybe the Great War was the Red Horse, but then again, the Great War could have just been all the conglomerate wars that were before that. But from my
The,
thought perspective, what I think it could be is that the first horse was the Crusades, second horse was all the wars that happened after that, and then the third horse was plague, and I think that was the Black Death, and I think we're in the fourth horse. The fourth horse actually consists of all three of them, and so it's just all three together because it has war, pestilence, and plague. And so we've got the coronavirus, we've got the pestilence, the starvation, we've got all the wars still happening. So I think it might be just a time shift. I can't say for certain if that's the case, but I've been looking at
All that's man-made.
thing and maybe, but that's my idea.
All
I
three
can't
of
say
those
for
are
certain,
man-made.
but
All three of these are man-made. We could easily grow more food. The coronavirus is man-made. Sorry to say it, and the war is also man-caused. I think that's. All right.
That's why I think we're probably on the fourth
Look,
horse right now. But there's other things that happen after that. The fourth one is technically what people would even consider the 3 days of darkness.
I would say that if we were doing our show the way we want to do it, we should probably make like a segment here. Because I would go into my crazy conspiracy ideas of like, all right, after the Library of Alexandria burned down, you start to think, why did it burn down? What if it was burned down?
People wanted to destroy the old knowledge of the past.
So what if some things weren't burned down? What if some crucial things were just pretended to be burned down, but they were kept? They were very, very important. And then I started thinking, like, what if like Elon Musk is in on everything and he's part of this whole new age movement and with this AI? And what if they know that like soon the real war, the beginning war is going to start, and they're trying to gear up like real actual Terminators to like try to fight like basically demons and stuff like that, because like it's about to get real. Because all right, now
it would make sense, because it's not just criminals, but if the AI wanted to attack us, they would also want us unarmed. Criminals do not want you armed at all.
But that's what I'm saying. What if the AI was completely on our side? What if like literally these people are like, all right.
I honestly think maybe the AI would, but then again,
this is what I'm saying though. The whole thing is you want to act like Biden's evil and or Trump is evil, but like what if they all were like, I don't want to say like light years because that's too much of an idea. But what if they're all like 20 plus years ahead of us? It just goes back into my criminal, remember I told you they all had this plan, but what if it wasn't for evil? This is just a conspiracy idea. What if it was because they knew that at this time the new age pyramid of Aquarius is starting and everything is going to start in this motion, and like demons are going to start coming out and warring us, and like we need like literally like mech warriors to fight these things. And like they're basically like well, I'm just saying, like, they're basically like going around everybody, and everybody looks like they're stupid, and they have no idea that like in some country right now we're actually mass producing like warriors ready for war. Like the country, you know what I mean? Like you could say like the secret society like knows this is happening, and they're gearing up for war to like protect humanity. And it might seem like they're doing all this evil stuff, but they've been funneling like millions and millions of pounds of resources to make like straight up like weapon robots. And I'm talking like robots that are just like, how strong can we make these things?
You know what? I have to say that's a sad thing that probably could be true. It could be like Elon Musk makes a bunch of robots to have an army to fight for him, and other people too with a lot of money, like the guy that owns Twitch, or Bezos, or somebody like that. They start making all their own little armies, and then the governments aren't that powerful anymore because they have to fight robots. And you're not going to want to pit humans against robots. The same thing that happens when I play Front Mission, and in Front Mission 3 they have little guys in like armor piercing rifles trying to fight a Wanzer that's 2 stories high with a guy inside of this thick cavity of armor. It's like there's no point, because the Wanzer can go and just step on you and you're dead.
But what happens if
that would be like a war crime?
That's what I mean. You have a 3-dimensional camera, a spherical camera that records everything, and it makes the assessment based on based on reaction. It's literally always faster at pulling out and shooting a gun. And all it has to do
Yeah,
is
so
if
you
it
could
sees a
never send
person,
humans
if it
against
sees a
it
person pulling
anyways.
out a gun, and literally like neutralizes the guy, and then it has the camera footage and it shows. And maybe we don't see it that fast. Oh man, we watch it in fast motion. There's no
But
way that somebody would have been able to catch, but the camera could, but the camera could, and the robot could, and it's just like Elon Musk
yeah.
is like, you can't be mad at me because my robot literally, like, you look at it hasn't broken any walls in defending me. It's registered in my name, so if it does break a law, you can say Elon Musk shot the person. Fine, but
Yeah,
it hasn't
but
broken
that's the
any
thing.
laws.
If you send the robots into fight like they're doing in California, they want to send they're making robots that are going to be police officers and they can shoot to kill. Now it's under a completely new jurisdiction because it's not a human being. They might be like, well, humans operating the robot. How do we know that? It could be hacked from some guy across the world. We have no idea who's operating that machine. Somebody could hack into all these machines and just take them over like Skynet, which is what Elon was kind of afraid for. But we're looking at completely new territory. This is what the Age of Aquarius is. It's like we're going into the Old West now. We're coming into completely new territory, completely new ways of living. And we have to figure out what's right and what's wrong. That's kind of what it is like to move into a new age. Now you have to have new rules. The old rules aren't going to work. That's why Jesus said when he was talking to Peter, and he's like, oh, we have Moses and we have Abraham here, and we have you, and you're enlightened. Let's make a pillar. And then when they disappeared and Jesus was there, the father was like, follow him. What he was trying to say is you can't follow the old ways because the old ways don't apply anymore. We have to start making some new ideas to new things to be able to understand what's the right way to go forward. Because because that's the fact. Like what you said, Jesus isn't coming back. I think Jesus will come back in a spiritual sense when we leave this corporeal
Well, I always say
body.
Jesus never left. He's within us.
But yeah, he's here. We're going to see him when we go. But it's not going to be like, hey, guys, I'm back. It's Buddy Jesus. And let's go. I think,
pew, 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 pew. You're all
and then,
dead.
Pew, 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 he just does that and he wins automatically.
Because justice wins.
Because here's the thing. People think it's like that because the same thing that the Jews thought, and I'm sorry if you are Jewish, but it's just the same way. They think, or they thought back, I don't know if they still think this way now, but they thought that King David was going to come back, bring up an army, and go out and fight everybody. It wasn't saying Revelation says the same thing. He's going to bring up an army and go and fight everybody. That never happened. Jesus came, and he wasn't the guy they wanted because he wasn't going to bring up an army. He wasn't going to go to war. He wasn't going to do any of that. He was going to get executed. Just an embarrassing way to go for what they thought was going to happen, and none of that ever happened. And so what do the Catholics do? They think the same exact thing that the Jews thought back then. Jesus is going to come back with an army, and he's going to go pew, 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 pew. It's the same mentality after it was already thrown out, and it wasn't. That's why when I read Revelations, I'm really kind of sketchy about that because it's like, okay, this is one guy's dream, but Jesus already told everybody what to do within the Gospels. So when we read Revelation, it's like
it wouldn't take more than like
on
1 hour if Jesus was performing miracles for somebody to be like, I see the strings. You know what I mean? Like the doubters would always be there. And the thing is, I don't know. I mean, the truth is, I guess we haven't lived it, so maybe it wasn't as different as it is right now. Society and people are harsh and all that. I don't think people really acted that much different. Language may have changed.
Well, they would but definitely execute people with lesser whims to it because of kingships and things like that.
But I'm just saying, the more and more I think about it, I think that people have always been kind of like sinister-minded.
I'd have to kind of agree with that.
Like
I think maybe what they say with when they with the Buddhas and all that, look at the Kali Yuga and stuff. They're like, we came out of the dark age and we're going into a silver age or a bronze age, and we're going to get into the silver and a gold age and all that. It just makes me wonder, like, if you're going through all these cycles, we're going to go back into another dark age after 12,000 years, right?
Right,
doesn't that mean
right.
that just another cycle of humans are going to have to experience it all over again? So if that's the case, then it's great that we're in this age, but it means that it's a cycle that just doesn't seem to end.
Yeah, and people
And
don't seem
then
to want to accept of how like things will repeat itself. But they don't have to. But people we
yeah.
allow it. We just allow it because we don't want to pay attention to the bigger picture of things.
Mm-hmm.
Even the one thing I saw in Joe Rogan where they were talking about like the large mushrooms that are 2,200 acres. There's like the largest organism, and he's like these things literally repopulate the forest, and he's like it takes like thousands of years. He's like it's not like one lifetime for us. He's like we have to understand that what they're doing in enriching the soil is like it takes thousands of years. He's like we need to stop looking at our lives like ours is our beginning and our end is everything that there is in life.
Mm-hmm.
We need to understand that like there's more to it, and we can't just keep destroying things and messing things up because we'll be dead and that's it. Who cares?
Yeah, because I think the fact is like if that was the case, that at a certain time, and we go through these cycles of life, and there was a really bad time, then we're coming into the next cycle. It's like it's maybe it's not just that we're coming next cycle. It's other people and us have had this frame of thought for some time that we need to make a bigger difference than what was in the past. We need to let like what happened with you with this racism thing, and even when I was younger, we have to like put that aside and try to bring up some kind of light for the other people to see and be like, I'm sorry, it's
What?
not that, but
There's no doubt
here's the
about
thing.
it.
And I think what we have to do, and what's the hardest thing to do, is to tell the truth. And I think that's why
You,
we're coming to the end of the cycle. And the same thing when Jesus came to the end of the cycle, when Pilate asked him, what is truth? Because for that whole time, nobody knew any bit of truth. So we have to tell the truth. We have to be the truth. And so in the future, if something like that happens, you'd be like, I'm sorry, it's not racism. It's because you're bringing things back that you already used,
well, I clearly
trying
did say
to
that.
trying to not have to pay for them and scam this company out of money. That's what it exactly looks like, because this doesn't look like it's new. And
Yeah, I think we
so
were trying to say that, man. That's what
so
caused all this.
so
Either
I'm just saying like what we have to do for us as human beings now is all the garbage that went on, whether it's a cycle or this has just been bad for a while. I can't go 2,000 years in the future or the past and confirm that one way or another. That's just what certain cultures believe. But what I can say is that going forward, the more truthful we are with other people, whether they are in your face or your friend, it will help, because it's like that pass it along thing. It continues forward because we put the mentality into it and we make it so. And because we made it so, other people see that thing. Like what happened when you had to talk to the police, and the people were like, this person is not a racist, because they've watched you, they've seen you,
yeah,
they
even my
know
manager had my
you
back.
because of your
Even
past
my district
actions.
manager had my back.
But I'm just saying,
Which made
because
me
your
which made me feel
past
so bad.
actions
Which made
that
me
have
feel like,
led them
is this all
to.
racist now? You guys didn't even like question it.
But
I
what
mean,
I'm
I
trying to
guess you guys know me, but like, I don't know.
what I'm trying to get to is that the things that you did created a good outcome for you because of that situation. If you didn't, your situation might be a little bit different. And what I'm saying is, going forward, if we're more truthful with things, things come to light better. And then people are exposed for who and what they are. And because here's the thing, people want to be on the winning side, but for the most part, we start to understand when we're more in tune with God, when we're more in tune with the Creator, we are on the winning side.
I don't know.
And
You
people
know, you
have
know what
to
I
register
realized?
that.
You know what I realized in all this? This is what I realized. I said it before, and I didn't really understand fully what I meant, I guess. But we're just a product, 100%. There's no morality instilled in us as humans. There's nothing. We are a blank late, and we learn what we are taught by our parents, our peers around us, in general, ourselves, every which of the way. Whatever it is that we experience, that's what we learn. And that's it. There's no moral instillment in us. God or Jesus is not within us prior. There is nothing that separates us from blank. And I knew this before, but I still would get angry at people. And now I realized I can't anymore. I don't even want to get mad or angry at people anymore for
Yeah.
anything, because I had one of my friends one time say to me, I said, man, who keeps putting Mountain Dew in the Coke cooler? I was like, it's a Coke product, it's a Pepsi product, Mountain Dew's a Pepsi product. And he said to me, I actually never knew there was, any of these other things were connected to Coke or Pepsi. He's like, I thought Coke just made Coke and Pepsi just made Pepsi and Mountain Dew made Mountain Dew. And I was like, nope, nope. A lot of these things are connected. And no, I mean, he's a bit of a younger guy and all that. I get it. He never learned it.
Mm-hmm.
He never learned it. Never was taught to him. Never got, and maybe it was taught to him and he slept through it. Who knows? But he did not learn it one way or another. He did not learn it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it could be of two reasons. Maybe they taught it to him 7 times, but he's got a slow brain and he can't learn things well because, series of throughout evolution or what, I don't even know. I don't know. But the bottom line is, it's not his fault as a soul in the body that he's put in, that he didn't get better privileges to learn things or a better mind or body to know and retain all the possible information as soon as you see it. He wasn't a 2-year-old prodigy child or something like that. That's, you know what I mean? Like, we are who we are. We are what the circumstance we get put in and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I just keep thinking, like, why should I get mad at anybody for anything? Like, what do they maybe they just don't know. They just didn't learn it.
Yeah.
Or I didn't learn it and I don't know any better and they're just unable to teach me well.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
I think that's kind of the truth in the matter, is because, and even like a lot of younger people, when you're younger, your mind is kind of all over the place sometimes.
I already know.
You're thinking about so many things, and then somebody tells you something, and you're like, yeah. Oh, okay. And then you have to go out and learn it again, even though somebody already told you, but you're just young and you don't. So like, not everybody has that frame of mind to put into what the situation is. And so, I kind of want to say, like, with the way things are with this holiday, I can definitely see, like, every single time we're coming up to this holiday, it's always about, it's always about getting frustrated about something. We're looking forward to the good things of Christmas and having merriment and that sort of thing with our family and friends and all that. But we always get this huge frustration because it's like, we're not getting everything to go our way. We got all these expectations. We got all these, honestly, we just have to, like, we honestly have to take the time to look at the begrudging things that happen to other people. Kind of like what you did, but not that wasn't the most fortunate sense. But to really try to, in a sense, try to empathize with some other people and kind of what they're going through. And sometimes it's in situations like that, you just have to tell them, like, I'm sorry, but you're in the wrong. And some people have to learn these hard lessons. It's very much like Scrooge and, what was it? Scrooge and It's a Wonderful Life, where, if you weren't there, if you didn't exist, you wouldn't be able to do these things for other people. Like, you have a purpose in life. And I think sometimes we get caught up in these frustrating situations, and this is the biggest opportunity we have in life. It's the hard, frustrating situations we get caught up in that we can really, really turn some people around, really change a life. And I think that's something we can look forward to, especially with the holidays and all that. I don't know what you think about that, but you know,
I just think that until we admit that we need Jesus, and we need a real teacher that we can. I mean, because that's the thing of it. It's like I said, you pay more attention to a squirrel dying in front of you and feel bad, but the fact is, thousands of people are dying all the time, and you don't feel bad for any of them. So, I mean,
yeah.
and you can say, well, that's just part of life, but this is right in front of me. But you know, you, the truth is, we need a physical teacher in front of us to teach us, and I only want Jesus at this point. I don't want any. I mean, not a prophet, but I don't want another Trump. I don't want another Biden. I don't want another Trudeau or any other country. I don't want any of these leaders. I want like just Jesus. Like
I
I
think
want
that's I think
because I'm
that's
tired of running around in
yeah.
circles. I will work hard as hell. I will devote all my overtime I need as hard as I can. I don't know how hard. Maybe with the power of Jesus, I can work a lot harder. But I would devote all that I could if in Jesus' name, if I could build what he tells me, if I could make the structure of what first thing we need to do is this. You got it, sir. Because I wouldn't have these doubts. But I hear so many times from other
Mhm.
people, like, we got to do this and that. It's like, that's a bad idea. Or maybe I think that's a good idea and then it fails on us. you
Mhm.
know but with Jesus, just imagine working for a guy where every time it's a guarantee things will be better, and we have eternity to keep building under his name. I'm not sure what we could accomplish. Eternity under building under Jesus' name.
I think
That's
I
what I
think it's
want. I
just
can't wait.
I
So
think
that's what
it's
I mean. I
just what
can't wait. And here's the thing: it's only a hop, skip, and a jump away when it comes down to eternity, but it's so long for us here.
yeah. I think
And
it comes
and
down to like what you can do for the people around, because Jesus was such a revolutionary because he literally just spoke the truth about what was
well, you know
happening,
what you can do. You
you
know what
know.
you can do. I listen. After this that yesterday, I prayed. I prayed really hard, and I prayed. I said, if I could make the request in any way, I said I wish that we could all, me, the woman, all of us could just learn. And actually, even my wife. I didn't mention my wife, but turns out my wife did too. But I said I wish we could all just learn something positive from this, whatever it may be, because I'm
Hmm.
confused in this whole situation. I'm hurt. I'm confused. I'm saddened. And I don't know what I said. I just wish we could all figure out something positive, whatever the lesson is to learn.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, the very next day, my wife woke up early, started working really hard on things. I keep having more of a mentality of like, focus on yourself, work harder for yourself. Stop, always looking for the help to helping others. It'll come when it comes. You focus on
Hmm.
yourself right now. You could help more people if you helped yourself a little bit more right now. And
Yeah.
I realized that. And it's directly Jesus telling me what I need to do. I need to focus on myself. I can't help others unless I have myself picked up. And, I
Hmm.
don't know if that's the same lesson that that woman will learn. I, Honestly, I don't think I'll probably ever see her again. I do hope she's okay because she was crying to the police over, I mean, I didn't say anything. She felt like I was profiling her, and, because of her skin color. And it wasn't because of her skin color. It's just because I was trying to do my job. When people try to, I can't let it go. I've stopped other people and they
Hmm.
weren't black. You know what I mean? Like, I pay attention to everybody the best I can.
Yeah.
I don't try to discriminate.
Yeah. I think what you're
You
gonna
can steal,
I think yeah, you could learn something from it, but I think maybe she learned a lesson that she's trying to play a race card
but look,
to
steal behind my
be
back.
able to
It
steal.
happens. I
And
all the time will find when people stole something right out of its packaging and took it. Steal behind my back. I won't catch you. Maybe I will, but I probably won't. It's not hard to take something, look twice, rip it open, throw it wherever, and keep walking. It's not hard to do that. I understand. Steal behind my back. But when you're gonna try to steal in front of my face, you're in front of me now. And you're asking me to look the other way while you do your thing like
she
that.
probably did it for a long time. It got emboldened to do it even more, and then thought, "Oh, I can take this a
That's what
step
I think
higher."
too. Look, the things that she was returning, and that's what I'm saying. She's been here numerous. The things she was returning was from over an hour away from me. So she had the receipts. So it's clearly like organized. She has these things organized at her house. I need to return these, oh, this store has this. I'm going to return these there and get this for that for free. Basically, I don't even have to pay for it. And I'll get those there, when I need.
Mhm.
I'm not mad at her. I'm not mad at,
Mhm.
you're trying to make it in a dirty society where, hey, the corporations have made it this way for everybody. I get it. But the thing is, you, I work for the corporation in this sense, and I have my job to do,
Yeah.
and that's the rules, and I
Hmm.
can't allow that. I'm sorry, I can't allow that. Like that's
Yeah,
look,
because if it just kept getting allowed,
look.
wouldn't be able to
Truth
work.
is, I don't like to do anything shady. I don't like to do shady stuff. I have the ability to make stickers and make T-shirts, and I am not about to try to go copyright and steal people's stuff. I don't want to do that. I don't want to steal people's, you know, artwork and all that kind of. That's wrong. I don't. I don't feel right about that. And a lot of people will be like, you can just, do it, and they'll if you get caught, they'll tell you to like stop. They won't like really sue you. It's not the point. They're right in the reasoning. They designed the character. They made the story that sold. They have the rights to it. I don't. I don't have the rights to just, oh, under the table, sure. I don't have those. I don't have the rights to do that.
Hmm.
I didn't make the design. It's not right. That's why they use the word rights, because it's right. It's not right. It's not right to do that. So I wouldn't do that. I want to make my own designs.
Yeah, I think with this situation though is I think she's gonna learn a really hard lesson because of that. She might have tried to fight for her situation because I mean you kind of caught her red-handed, and then what is she gonna do? Just be like, "Oh, you got me." She probably did this for a very long time and got away with it. That she thought she was just entitled to keep getting away with it. So she's like, "Oh, I know what to do. I'll just say he's a racist, and then he'll have to fold." And he'll have to give into it. And unfortunately, that's kind of what we're living in today is a lot of this situation where it's like, oh, well, I could just call you a racist and you'll just have to shut up because, you're not the right color to be recognized as. And it happens a lot. It's the race card's been used for a very long time and it's unfortunate, but I think in this situation, I think the fact is like you're right. You need to stand up for yourself and stuff because if you just folded, everybody there would have probably questioned like, is this person a racist? Did this person profile them? And then they would have looked at you like that because you didn't stand up for
And
yourself.
or like they're like, oh, I can just return whatever I want from this place.
And then they can just double down and, just exactly what you're saying right there. So I'm saying like what we're looking at here today is hard lessons that we have to learn, hard lessons that we have to give others. That's why I don't let people get away with stuff. I used to in the past. I used to try to be
Yeah, I
like,
know. I couldn't
be
back
really
down to
nice
that.
and just be like, you know what, whatever, man. You know, but then it turned into the fact that some people, even who I thought were friends of mine, would literally just try to steamroll over me and be like, look at what this is and look at what that is. I'm like, dude, you know what? Everybody has an opinion, dude. And it just comes, it turns into the fact that people will literally just steamroll over you because you've been led to believe you don't need a backbone. You've been led to believe that um, the way that everything's been enmeshed and enshrined is the way it is, when it's not always the truth. And the truth is that we are all individuals and we should treat everybody with respect. We should treat everybody with care and kindness. But if somebody's trying to do some shady stuff to us, we shouldn't just let that ride because
No, but that's what I'm saying. But
we've been doing
but
that
you
for too
shouldn't
many
be but
years.
you shouldn't be angry at the person, nor should you solve the problem with anger. The fact of the matter is, that person has not been taught correctly. There's nothing wrong with their brain. There's nothing wrong with their brain. They just don't know any better.
Yeah.
And you know, that's what I mean. All people, whether your brain is super, ability to memorize and be fast, or your brain is super slow and you can't, function properly. I think you can still teach everybody like the most important things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, if we did teach, even the simplest people could still be a very, very strong, useful assets.
Mm-hmm.
If we learn how, but right now it's like exploitation. Like they
Mm-hmm.
want to exploit the weak,
Yeah.
exploit the
And
poor.
I
And if
think
the
that's
more
what
and more we can get weak and poor, the better, because we can just keep exploiting them.
and I think that's what we have to actually like. I think that's a message that I want to showcase is trying to showcase the truth more, kind of like what Jesus would do. That's kind of what my angle is on this show that we're doing. And I think the fact is we have to be able to say things that are going to be uncomfortable to some people in some situations, and that's what Jesus did too. He said a lot of very uncomfortable things to people. People think he was a buddy Jesus, but you know, maybe hanging out with just some regular people he had, but when he went out to talk, he would make some profound messages that the higher ups did not like. And I think we are coming to the point of being able to clear up some of this corruption, clear up some of this deception, and we gotta be able to highlight some of these things. I know we're almost like 2 hours in. I don't know if you want to like wrap this up, but I think for the Christmas
Yeah,
season,
it's fine.
there's a lot of opportunities that we can take to help
And
out.
New Year's resolutions right around that corner. There's a lot I agree with you. Not opportunity, and slow down a little bit. Take the time to think about your actions before you're doing them. You're not gonna miss much. And
Mhm.
that's what I mean. Like people are they've developed this idea that it's like if you don't keep up, you're gone.
Yeah,
And I'm sorry, but you guys are wrong. Like society can operate perfectly fine without that mentality, and it will.
hmm,
And people are we're not I'm done. I'm done with people trying to have this idea of like faster's better. It might not be right, but let's just get it done.
yeah,
We'll recall it later after like 40 people died, or like hundreds of people are peeved off because we messed something up,
yeah,
or we'll fix it in the next patch. I'm tired of that mentality. No, we need a little bit more professionalism from people,
yeah,
and not so much like what happens if we push the date like 2 weeks. Well, we probably lose around like $500,000. Can't happen. Get it out now.
hmm,
Like we need this. Everything cannot be based on the almighty money. I don't even want to say dollar anymore because who knows what people are exchanging. Money, 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 money. If I don't make enough money, then somebody else will make that money, and therefore I've lost.
yeah.
It's it's
I think we should try to, I don't know if we can, but try to find a way to think about more of the worth value of what we're doing more than the money aspect itself. And I think if we can find a way to do that, we could really change a lot of things. Like what is this worth to me? Is this really worth that? Based upon
Well,
the
and
kind of
stop
effort
using
that people put into
vice
it.
versa. Stop using supply and demand as a way to hold like essentials. I mean, I remember, obviously you were right about some things are kind of conspiracy on or when they're not even really out of it. But look how they jacked up the prices of bleach and stuff at stores and all that. It did not get that much more expensive to produce. You guys just know it's needed to keep things clean,
Yeah.
and you jacked up your prices. And that's one, was supposed to be illegal, and two, like, disgusting behavior for things like vinegar and bleach and baking soda and all these essential classic cleaners and all that. They shouldn't have been allowed to go up. Same thing with like milk and bread. They shouldn't have been allowed to go up, and yet somehow they still did.
That's all part of the market, man. If one thing goes up, other things go up. If it's a necessary thing going up, everything else is going to start slowly climbing. So then
And I
everybody
just don't.
thinks, I need more money. Well, then you need to work more. No, I just need more money. Well, then everything's going to go up to match. People think you're going to get paid more. Every single thing is going to rise to that same
Yeah,
level.
but that's what I mean.
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
But then I agree with the Democrats in that. Then you just need to tax the fudge out of the people who are making too much. If they think that, look, I already said before, you shouldn't even have to tax them. You should force them to have more employees.
Yeah,
You
I don't know how to
if
deal
you're
with that
making
really.
if you're making $10 billion profit at the end of the year that you need to divide up amongst your CEOs, no, it should be like anything over like a $500 million profit has to be invested back in the company, and it should be and any company worth this much should have this many employees guaranteed.
I would
And
say we should go back to the idea of no taxes. So instead of being like we got to tax them more, just take it away and just leave it to the point where individuals can donate to a certain fund, like they want to donate to the police because they want to help the police, or the firefighters and all that. They want to help them out. Then they can be recognized for what they donate to help the system.
well, I wouldn't say you
functionally.
get donations. I'd say you have more homeowners. This development has its own police force, and I mean that's how like Dominican Republic is when I go.
Yeah,
People have their
yeah.
own security. Most places, the way that it works is there's one security guard or two security guards on, right? And some, I mean, depending on how big the complex is, I guess there's a few more usually, but
Hmm.
right, they'll have like, but the thing is, they have more security guards that are not working that they could call that could come and create like a small army if need be. But those security guards work at other places or other hours. You know what I mean? Like people are part time. Like you could keep calling more people in and have I have like a team of 100.
Hmm.
If there was like really something going down, more
Yeah,
security would come. They're like a miniature police force,
yeah.
and
Yeah, I
yet
don't know, man. I don't know what the best situation is for that.
and they literally
But
work for the whole complex. The complex pays them, and we all we
yeah,
all
if
we
it
all
worked
chip
for
in and
like a
pay.
community setting or something like that.
But again, the problem with that is then you don't have somebody to. You're only going to get a he said she said statement when it comes down to, which you
Yeah.
still do with
And then
police officers.
the hard part with that
But
is that whoever pays more to certain complexes, they get better security there than maybe you do.
well, I'm saying you
You
still
know.
you still have even the police are like, well, he said this or he did this, and what if I mean what happened? That's kind of the thing now. What happened? He was speeding, going 83 miles an hour. You know, um, no, I wasn't. It's like Yes, he was. Okay, well, we're going to side with the police on this. What? I mean, now you typically would say you want to see like, well, what radar did you use and all that kind of stuff. But that's what I mean. Like, they'll try to side with the police officer because that's what he does for a living. He would know better than whoever you are. And if you were smart, then you would have to prove your innocence.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? But we're going to side with the police officer. So it's already a bit corrupt. So I can kind of agree with you there in that sense that like shouldn't side with the police officer. He has to. He's supposed to be like a detective. He has to, prove my guilt. I don't have
Yeah.
to prove my innocence.
Yeah, I don't know what we need to do with. I'm not sure what the right answer with that is, honestly. But I think like
Well,
going
you said
forward,
know the law better.
well,
There should
yeah,
be
know the law
there should
better.
be there should
Honestly,
be a simple app that says the law where you can type in, a search and type in, like what's the law say about me riding my bike at night? What
hmm
state are you in? Pennsylvania. Like, oh, well, like what time is it? Or these are the curfews, for minors, these are the curfews for adults. Or,
hmm
like this, in this area, you get to go what county, like you there should be an app at that point that says like all the legal mumbo jumbo where you can become a lawyer because you can literally look at the law, case
yeah,
you want to know, hey, is there any what can I know about, I have a case about this, what can I know, there was like 6 cases regarding this and this, here were the outcomes, you can read it, you can read the statements yourself, like lawyers would be out of business then because people are like, oh, I'm just gonna do myself then. I don't have enough money for a lawyer, so I'm just gonna represent myself. I've been looking at this case, shouldn't I be granted the same circumstance? I can't see how many different in the evidence and this and that, like, okay, fair enough. We can grant you that same circumstance. I mean, that's no different. What the lawyer will be like, oh, I got you a plea deal of this, but just because somebody else already did that, and you're just comparing it, or you breached palms because the lawyers and stuff. It's all sickening. You know what I mean? All of it's sickening. Lawyers are sleazeballs. They'll defend a
yeah. But
criminal.
then the fact is like, there's certain people that have good dispositions, and the law would just automatically judge them because um, some police would try to turn into detectives, and that's not their job, and then just go about everything the wrong way. And the fact is, once you do get into court, if you don't know how it runs and how it works, you can make it even worse for yourself than it could even been previously beforehand. So lawyers can know the language to be able to. That's the thing. Like most people don't know the law. They haven't read most of the rules of the law, and they get more in trouble going to court trying to do something. And if they don't have a lawyer there, they're more screwed than before. So if you don't really know what's going on, and then you say, "Hey, what about this thing?" and the judge is like, "You're interfering with the court. You can't do that now." You don't know when you're supposed to be able to talk and when you can't talk, and what you can say and what you can't say. You can make it so much worse. You could get thrown out, and then the judge just automatically throws everything at you because you didn't know what was even going on. So I think the fact is, like, even what we're talking about with this whole bah humbug thing, we're trying to understand that um,
I don't
there's
know.
just
A judge who judges a person that
there's
much. I
just
get it that yeah, you can have a lawyer, but
there's just a
I,
lot of misconception with what we're trying to understand with other people, and we get too upset and angry
I
with
shouldn't
other
say all
people
lawyers
too
sleazeball. Fine,
soon.
some lawyers are sleazeballs.
Well,
Some.
yeah, yeah, but and there's a percent that goes back and forth either way with things. Usually, I would say, judges are pretty fair from what I've seen. But when it
Well,
comes
judges
to
do
like,
have to be elected. That's what I mean. Like they should be a little bit more fair as they've been elected
yeah,
to get that
they've been
position.
elected to get that position, and I think they should be honest and fair, completely on that scale. But I think that's the thing. They're trying to live up to their job, their namesake, right? Being a judge, being an honorable judge. But we don't have that for our lifetime for being whatever we are. We don't have to live up to being an honorable person because it's not our job. But I think this is one key thing we should get from this, if anybody's watched this far, which I hope some of you have, is
I
that
have.
it doesn't, well, I know you have too, but it doesn't matter whether we have the job of being honorable or not. If we believe in Jesus, we can't just say we know Jesus and therefore we are honorable too. We have to replicate what he had to say and how he had to live. And so, not just to have the job of the judge, but to be the honorable judge, and knowing that some people may not know this and some people may not know that, without being, to be able to weigh the situation the right and correct way. And I think when we see this time, in this time of season, we don't see that very often. And I think we can be that change for the future to kind of help other people move along without all this craziness that we've seen so far. And that's really all I've got to say. I think I've finished my point of topic there. I don't know what you think, but I think we should probably wrap it up soon.
I think we can all be better. And I think that if we have, if you have children, you want to make sure when you're ready to pass that your child knows what you wanted to teach them. And what exactly is that? What are the real principles of what you actually want to leave to your kid? You can teach them, how to make money if that's what's important to you. For me, I just want to make sure my kids know how to be moral and fair. It's always been my, I try to teach them, who Jesus is, and Jesus, you want to be like Jesus. You want to be, I don't even know. I don't even know, how would you even describe Jesus? Can't, it's easy to say like perfect like that, but
It's kind of like what we're talking about, with
you
the
want, you don't want to be the indifferent good man. You want to stand up
yeah.
to when something is wrong.
I think that's what people are not seeing about Jesus nowadays. They're seeing him as just like an indifferent person, but he stood up against a lot of corruption at the time, against a lot of bad ways of living, and he didn't back down. I think that's one thing.
Oh, he didn't back down to the point that they killed him.
Yeah.
I mean, he went right into it. But the fact was, I mean, you can't kill the Son of God. Like, you can't kill our Creator.
Yeah.
He's the Word.
That's why they were so sad, and they had all these disasters happen just shortly after that, and they felt such fear.
Yeah,
everything
what
because
happened,
like,
right? Not shortly after. No, not shortly after.
That's probably where the first OMG came from.
One generation after. As in, all the people who did it, their sons got like in war and all that problems afterwards. Think about that. It was one generation after, like 50 BC or 50 AD, that was like when it started to get pretty bad.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with Pompeii, and that's what I'm saying. God killed all the kids. Like, I mean, he did exactly what they did. He killed their kids.
Well, he didn't even
care about them.
I don't know enough to make
it's crazy.
that kind of statement.
But is that the right way? Is that the right way though? Because that's what I mean. God, listen. God is God, and Jesus is Jesus. Jesus may be the word that allowed it all, but God still was the actual creator of it. You can say they're one and the same, but in a sense they're not, because you can see Jesus is within love. God will clearly be vengeful. He will definitely strike you down without mercy or torture you because of your choices.
And
God
honestly,
was much different.
I don't know if it's so much that is if it's
than
their
Jesus
own
was.
decisions. I think for the most part for people, it's their own decisions that lead them to the circumstance in life that they end up
Well,
in.
maybe God was so smart that he knew exactly what people needed.
Hmm.
Or maybe God was ensuring that the legacy for Jesus would survive.
Yeah, because yeah, this is yeah, it's hard because we hear about the Old Testament stuff with the the Jews.
Look, there still
their
might have
for I think
been
their firstborns were taken, or
there
what
still might
happened
have
with
been
that, and then
Aries
the.
and Moses and all that, but God was always around. That's what I mean.
Mhm.
God was God. You know what I mean? Before Jesus, you had Moses. Before Moses, you had Abraham. There were stories of these other people that could speak to God. There was no one else that could speak to God. You had Noah, and these were all in the different ages. All these, I mean, it lines up with the ages
Mhm.
of, the age of Cancer and the age of Aries and the age of Taurus. All of them line up with when these people existed, as they were able to speak with God. The thing was, all those people did honorable things. Noah built that ark to save the family. God protected his one family, you know. But Noah had to work hard to be able to even create an ark and gather animals. Basically
And you know
spent
what? You know
most
what?
of his time in life doing so. You know, Abraham not only had to endure serious family issues throughout his entire life, but also but I mean, like, Abraham had to move around a lot. You know what I mean? Like, he was not able to, like, really stay in one place, I don't feel. Like, he had a tough life in a sense as well. Moses, I mean, Moses had to take the people out of Egypt, you know what I mean? Like, it
Yeah,
was
that's
like,
why when we said earlier with you go to heaven and there could be more work to do, because the fact is, like, even in our lives, the people that have done the greatest things are the ones that did the most work. And so you think that you're completing something, or like it comes down to the people that created the most work, the most fruitful things that ended up flourishing more with other people, especially with even Jesus, him going around and doing what he did. Um, and so I think going forward, I think that's something that we should try to understand, is that even in hard situations, even in the bah humbug of the merriment of the holidays, where you have a lot of frustrating other people in life, I think we have to find a way to do some good work along that path, because that
well,
is definitely a part of
let me say this. When
going
when
forward.
you do something in the name of Jesus, it's always going to be better. It's always going to be better, because you can never, Jesus is perfection. And when you're doing something, thinking like, I got to do it for him, you want it to be your best work.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's just a positive mentality. That truth be told, people will do a lot of the, like, we're selfish sometimes. We'll do hard work for ourselves. Look at my own proud work. I'm proud. Look what I accomplished. But if you really actually do everything for Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
you literally work hard at work for Jesus. You come home and you try to say the right things to the family for Jesus, and you do the right things the day for Jesus, and you literally spend your life, you're doing it, you're trying to be there, doing it for Jesus. It's amazing how much more you accomplish, and how much better everything is. You see something, you have Jesus's back. He's with you still. Pick it up, fix it quick. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'll fix it quick. I don't need to let that sit and wait. I won't walk past that. You're right. I'll fix it. Before you realize it, Jesus is like the ultimate motivator behind you, because you're doing everything for him and he's doing everything for you.
Mm-hmm.
And this like this tie that you can get. And, sometimes you fall back into the worldly thing. You start doing things for yourself. It's too hard of work to keep doing things for Jesus. I'm always having to work so hard. I need a break. and and then before you realize that you know, but remember that okay, he'll give you a break. He'll never work you too hard. That's what he tells you. Blah 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 blah. But the thing is, push yourself. Push yourself this year to do things for you, to speak up when things are wrong, to work hard and fix things, and not just forget about it, and not just it'll get fixed, figure it out later. Just work harder. Challenge yourself to be a better person. Challenge yourself to be a better person.
All right, man. I like that. So I guess we'll probably end there, and I think
Be the light.
Be the light, and I think everybody. I hope you enjoy your holidays or Christmas or whatever you're celebrating, and just remember, there's a lot of work to do. Work is never done. Nobody truly retires. You kind of just go on and just. But yeah, that's just a part of life. But thanks for coming by, everybody. If you liked it, do what you can do, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Yeah, give me some topic ideas too. I'd love to hear what some people want to talk about.
Okay, yeah, that too. If you got some ideas, throw it in the chat. We'll see you later, everybody.